This is Paul McGann, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode 274 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast, and we're still stuck inside. How are we keeping from going crazy? Let's find out. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you joined us. Let's start off like a new week with a virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bethlehem.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hi.
Hey,
everybody. We're having all sorts of issues. Yeah, so if you're hearing this episode, yay for us. Because everything did not completely self-destruct.
Yeah.
We're making it work, okay? That's sort of the story of our lives right now. You just make it work.
We're not a Mission Impossible message.
Yeah. like MacGyver, we got some chewing gum and a paper clip, and
Yeah.
it may not be pretty, but it's something.
Yeah.
We're missing the doctor to do some jiggery pokery, but Lord knows where the doctor went.
Oh my. So, all right. Well, let's do the news. So we actually have a decent amount of news, all things considering. And our first bit of news comes from Big Finish. Is if Big Finish, doesn't already get a lot of money anyway.
They haven't find new ways.
Yes. Yeah. So
Those flash sales every other week are just like.
Like, do I have that one? I do not. I will fill in that gap. Thank you.
Yeah.
Click.
Check your local library, folks.
If they're open.
Yeah.
So they have announced that in the Big Finish's Lost Stories range, next year they're releasing Return of the Cybermen, which is a unmade script from 1974. And it's going to be a Fourth Doctor story, but it is a Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane and Harry Sullivan's story, and but they have announced that obviously, Sarah Jane, played by Elizabeth Sladen, she's no longer with us, but they have brought in Sadie Miller, who is actually Elizabeth Sladen's daughter, to play her mother's probably most famous role as Sarah Jane Smith. So they did post a small teaser, which you can listen to, and just that little bit, she sounds a lot like her mother. So that's pretty good. But that's kind of exciting that we're finally going to get, a version of Sarah Jane in Big Finish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think about it, because I remember when Elizabeth Sladen passed away, it was 9 years ago, and they had just announced that Tom Baker was going to start doing Big Finish, because there were several years he just didn't, and I was like, oh cool, there'll be some Fourth Doctor Sarah Jane stuff, and then Liz Sladen passed away, and it's like, well, now we're not going to get that. And she did do a Sarah Jane Smith series for Big Finish back in 2002, I believe, which that's one of the flash sales that they're having, which is pretty good. But it's like, it's not Sarah and the Doctor. So it just kind of felt like it was just such a big letdown, because now we'd never get that again. But now we're getting it in some format, and just as a note. Christopher Naylor will be playing Harry Sullivan, since Ian Marter also has since passed. So, so that's it's exciting. It's like you get Sarah and Harry with the Doctor.
Mm-hmm. I like the quote from Sadie though, when talking about stepping essentially into her mother's shoes. And she said when Big Finish asked me to play Sarah Jane for the story, I was very nervous. I didn't want to create a performance from someone else's, so I tried to approach it as I would with any other role. I tried to find my own piece of Sarah, the part of my mom that's in me. But I have had a quick look on YouTube for Sarah Jane Smith screams because I wasn't quite sure how she would want me to do those. And that's Lottie Sarah Jane Smith scream.
Yes, yes. Lottie decided, oh, you're talking about screaming? I can do that too.
Yeah.
This one was a little quieter than she was doing before we started recording.
Yeah.
That was one of the little so-called gremlins who were working out.
Yes.
No, yeah. So this is really exciting. And on top of that, yesterday they did the the tweet along for Journey's End, Soul and Earth Journey's End, and they had a little clip which we posted on our Facebook page that Russell T Davies wrote a script for. It's called Farewell Sarah Jane, and it's basically everyone mourning the passing of Sarah Jane Smith, but at the end Ronnie kind of says, nah, the doctor just came and got her. And I'm like, yeah. I subscribe to that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really sweet and a really, really endearing. And Sadie Miller also did she had a little message, that she posted, that they posted on Twitter. She was unable to tweet, which I can understand because I couldn't, because for much the same reason, she had her kids with her, and my kids were having a bit of a crisis yesterday. But no, her video was very, very nice, and her son had a little Funko Pop of Sarah Jane, and she's like, here, show him Sarah Jane, and I can't remember her son's name now, but he was like, show it, wave it around. It's like, that's Grandma Liz, right?
Aww.
It was so cute. I think it was Emily Cook. She retweeted it. So if you go into her tweet, she's the one who's been organizing these tweet-alongs. So go into her Twitter feed and you'll find it. It's adorable, and it was so sweet to see her and talking about her mother.
Yeah. So that story will be available. Lonnie wants it now. I'm sorry.
Yes, she does.
You're gonna have to wait. It's not gonna be available till January of next year, but it is available for pre-order. So through Big Finish. So there's that. And then on Disney Plus, as we're barreling towards a new month, they have announced that on the quote-unquote unofficial Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, they are going to release a documentary about the making of The Mandalorian. So we'll get to see how they filmed the series and Baby Yoda and all that fun stuff. So that's quite exciting. It's going to be an 8-part documentary series titled Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, and the first episode will be available on May the 4th. And then subsequent installments will drop on Fridays.
Yeah, this is, Mandalorian's one of those shows you're like, they have to have behind the scenes stuff somewhere, and this is where they're putting it, and I'm like, good job, guys.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Grabby hands.
I will take that, I will watch it and enjoy the heck out of it.
Yep. And then speaking of things coming in May, at the end of May 27th, we will get the season premiere of what is going to be the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we don't have a trailer or anything yet for the series, just a fancy poster. They're calling it One Final Mission. and but they have confirmed, and a lot of people suspected this because of at least the time period, that they're going to start in, based on where the season ended last year, is that we may see some Agent Carter related people. And they have confirmed that Enver, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, I'm so sorry, but he played Daniel Sousa, and he is going to guest star in the season. So how much we'll see him and whether we'll see anybody else from Agent Carter, TBD. I'm sure they want to keep some things under wraps. So, but that is exciting, considering the short end of the stick that Agent Carter got as a series. So it'll be fun to at least see one of the characters that we're familiar with come back. I liked it. I liked it because he said that what was fun is once they got him and Coulson in the same scene that they realized how similar they were. Yep. Shield fanboy.
Yep, this could be good.
I'm excited. Sosa, I've always liked Sosa, so I'm excited to see him back.
Yep. So we shall see what happens when Agent Shield returns.
I'm curious if this is gonna take place after all of Agent Carter events or before. Because I don't know exactly. Did they say exactly what year the?
They're in the 19.
Looks like 31.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 1931 New York City, so it's pre-World War II. So we'll see. But that doesn't mean that if they're in New York City, that doesn't mean that Peggy isn't wandering around there somewhere. So,
Yeah.
especially if because the whole idea of this last season is supposedly the Chronicoms are going to be attacking Shield through different points in time. So we may start out in the 30s and work our way through.
That's true.
Up into present day. So we don't at this point we don't have to worry about like where Agent Carter ended with Peggy and Sousa together, because as we know, Endgame changed that, but that can be its own timeline now. So because of the idea of multiple timelines, because of events with Thanos and everything, the continuity and all that can kind of go out the window possibly. So
and we don't know which option with Doctor Strange, I've seen X number amount of how things played out. We don't know which version we're.
Yeah, there's 14,605 different, realities, scenarios that Doctor Strange saw. We don't know which one of these this is. So
that is true.
Yeah.
So pretty much anything can happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Although I am enjoying it's like as the season gets closer, and before we got this the premiere announcement, that it would just so happen that Clark Gregg was accidentally posting behind the scenes pictures and videos on his social media.
Accidentally.
Yeah. He's like, oops, I accidentally posted this picture of Chloe Bennett in costume while on set. Oh, I might have to delete this later. And like,
and he can't blame the cute little puppy, because that happened before he got said cute little puppy, before he got Lily.
Yeah, Lucy.
Or Lucy, sorry. I was close. It became Chanel.
Yeah. So, if you go to Clark Gregg's Instagram, you can get some accidentally posted behind-the-scenes pictures from them filming season 7 and his new puppy, Lucy. So yeah, I'm excited for Agents of Shield to come back, but at the same time, it's like I don't want it to be over.
Same. I'm like, yeah,
It's like
he's
I want
back,
to see what happens, but at the same time, I don't want it to end. So fangirl problems.
At least we know it's not going to end like on a really bad cliffhanger because they knew this well in advance.
Yeah. So it's like they're ending it how they want to end it.
That's always the best way to do it.
Exactly.
Speaking of Coulson, segue there, and Clark Gregg is I guested on the Happiness and Darkness podcast, which Holly's been on a few times. So go listen to her episodes. But then listen to mine, which just got posted yesterday as we're recording this. And Nick and I spent the time talking about Captain Marvel from last year. So we got to talk about Carol and some of the controversy that came with having a female-led superhero movie and all that fun stuff. And I did fangirl just a little about the return of Clark Gregg as Coulson on this big screen. So
and it was good. It was a good matter. It was a good amount. There was no you didn't go overboard. It was perfect.
Yeah. Like I was trying to rein myself in. There was a moment there where I'm like, no, I can control myself there.
Good. If that was you loose, that you were okay.
Yeah. No, that was me reining it in.
Well, you did wonderfully.
Thanks. But no, Nick, he's a super cool guy. He really knows his stuff, especially as far as comics are concerned. So he was real fun to talk to. So, and I'm happy that we finally got a chance for me to be on there, because this has been on the books for a while, actually, because he played so far in advance.
Yep. I'm scheduled to do one late May, and that's going to be, brace yourselves, Howard the Duck. I volunteered because he's just like, if there's any takers for these, I'm just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take one for the team.
Maybe I'll finally watch it.
Just have some fun
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I have seen people make fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only exposure I have was at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that, like, I knew about
that's not the same Howard.
I know that
it is, but it isn't. So
Yeah.
That's like, I've heard of him before. Like, I knew about the movie, but I'd never seen it or seen anything about it.
yeah, let me just put it this way: if you watch Howard the Duck, have Back to the Future on standby.
Yes. Yes.
So that you can have a palate cleanser.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And she's not just saying that because Leah Thompson's in both.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my point. Is
yeah.
Well, at least as far as Leah Thompson is concerned, you can have a nice palate cleanser. So
yeah.
It's like, you did such a good job over here. What the heck happened?
Is Howard the Duck even streaming? I doubt it.
Yeah, that's one
Which
of those
funny,
where it's like no one wants to admit that they own it.
Who does own it? Like,
you don't have a box of shame?
It's in the guilty pleasure box.
Yeah.
According to Amazon, NBC is the studio behind it.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's their fault.
Well, and George Lucas, I think, had a little hand in it too.
Yeah, it says from executive producer George Lucas and Marvel Comics. comes this hilarious comedy about a fast-talking, cigar-chomping, bill-loving duck from a parallel universe who crashes to Earth.
Yeah.
Huh. Alrighty then.
So he disavowed the Star Wars holiday special, but his name is still on Howard the Duck.
Apparently.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, Holly's gonna be on that podcast.
Look for that in late May.
Yeah, late May.
So
Late May, maybe early June.
Yeah.
Hard to say with the record date versus release. Just depends.
Yeah. Oh. And then we're not in a new month yet, but Holly has put up a kind of interesting poll for the book club to get. We just want to get people's opinions on whether we want to add audiobooks to the options.
Yeah, not that I'm running out of book ideas for the Doctor Who book club with Travis. I just thought to change things up, we could add the audiobooks from the Big Finish or the Audible range, or even some of the episodes that are lost and had the narration, just for something a little bit different. It's gonna be on the main page. You have to scroll down. There's the book poll for May. You just have to click more, and then you just click yes, no. If you click yes, if there's any comments you want to add, like, hey, if the yes vote goes through, here are some of the audios that I would like to maybe have you put on a poll. I know there's stuff to Spotify. Big Finish has also started moving some of their library to be sold as well on Audible. So between that, we've got options. Kind of expand our choices. Yes. And I have that set to go through, that poll set to go through, I want to say mid-May. I can always change it to beginning part of June too. So there's that.
All right. Well, that's it for the news. And then we've got a little bit of feedback from Shalane. And she wanted to mention another movie that flopped that was supposed to be part of the cinematic universe, The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
I didn't realize that was supposed to be a cinematic universe.
Oh yeah, the Dark Universe. No, that one I think deserved to flop.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it.
I've watched like 10, 15 minutes of it, and that was enough for me. Because when I'm flipping through and I'll see The Mummy on the guide, I am clicking info because I'm just like, which one is it? Is it the Brendan Fraser one or is it the Tom Cruise one? One time they goofed on the guide, said it was the Brendan Fraser one, and it turned out to be the Tom Cruise one. I was not a happy camper. I was like,
that's like you set the DVR like, hey, I want to watch this, and then it's like, oh, it's that one. Darn it, I padded your stats. You don't deserve it. Go away.
Mm-hmm. You want to throw a Benny type fit.
Like, I normally would, try, because I love Ancient Egypt. I would normally try. But, I heard it so bad, and I'm too much of a Brendan Fraser Mummy fan.
Well, the problem with it is it's not that. Well, okay, there's several problems with it. The main problem I have with it is that it's like, hey, we're going to do a cinematic universe. This is going to happen when you haven't even done one movie yet. And it was the setup for it that was just, oh guys, you're way ahead of yourself. Just don't do that.
Planning, they were just tossing stuff to see what.
Yeah. And it was basically like, oh, cinematic universes make big money, so let's do a cinematic universe. It's like, that's not how this works, guys.
No, cinematic universes are usually well planned out.
Yeah, it's not just a
Exhibit A,
in a
Exhibit
boardroom.
B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and saying we
I
want
mean,
one too. Go make
yeah.
one. It's like no.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, Universal is just like, because that flopped, they're like, Plan B. We're just going to release some of these movies and not worry about continuity because, because it was supposed to be, this dark universe, and they're supposed to kind of bring a new, updated version of like the Universal classic monsters. So, like Dracula. And
Which
Mummy
sounds
and
like a good idea.
all that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because we had the Invisible Man movie that released earlier this year, and it did fairly well. But as far as I know, I haven't seen it. But as far as I know, there's no direct connection to the greater
it was
universe.
more of a.
They made it more standalone, so that
It was its own thing as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
What I've been able to hear. So.
Yeah.
The Mummy. It was like they're like, okay, we're having an adventure now. Let's stop and set up 7 more movies that now you're never gonna get to.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not a recipe for success, guys.
Yeah. Like, you really can't shoehorn that kind of thing in. You got it. I mean, you can plan stuff ahead of time, but you got to do some things organically. You can't just shove it down people's throats. It's like,
sure it's actually going to work first.
Yeah.
People actually like these characters. And
that's
stories.
true, but I mean, like the first Iron Man, you get that post-credit teaser with Nick Fury, but it's like, that's all it is. It's just a little tease. They're like, we might do something with this. We might not.
They didn't stop in the middle of the
happens.
movie and say, hey, you're in the middle of a bigger universe. I'm like, no, you waited till the movie was over. You had your story. People liked Iron Man, liked Tony Stark. And then all of a sudden, hey, you want more? Well, here's more coming.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, we had, like, a little hint throughout the movie, like, with Coulson, but...
that was worked into the story.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you meet Furious, it's like, who is this quasi-angry, ticked-off dude? He's kind of interesting. I want to know more about him.
Yes.
Exactly. So, that's our 2 cents on cinematic universes.
And probably why we probably won't have a full-on review of that version of The Mummy.
Yeah, no.
No.
If anything, we'll go to the Brandon Fraser ones.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be down for that.
And then we can talk about the ride that's Universal.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk at least about the first 2. I don't really want to revisit the third one.
There wasn't a third one. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
It doesn't
Dragon
exist.
what? Yeah, Dragon what? No, I don't think so.
Oh, my. Tangents.
Well, that never happens around here.
Oh, no.
Here.
Yeah.
Rachel, that's part of our tagline.
We didn't spend 30 minutes before we started this show talking about this, that, and the other thing. Anyway, moving on to this week's main topic, which is something we've done before, but we're going to do it with a slight twist. So every now and then we will do episodes talking about the things we're currently reading and watching and listening and doing that sort of thing. But because we're all essentially stuck at home for the most part, that we're having to get a bit more creative to fill out what free time we have. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting and maybe fun for our listeners for us to talk about and share some of the things that we've been using to keep ourselves occupied while not being able to do anything outside of our own home because everything is closed.
Yep.
So it's like no movie theaters, no concerts, no conventions. That's it's getting, how do you keep yourself from going stir crazy?
Mm-hmm.
On top of, the real life that you still have to deal with. Most of us are working, or, we got, in some cases, kids or pets or other family members that still need our attention. So, I guess we'll just kind of go around the board, and I'm going to kind of start with the things that I've just been kind of listening to, because that's kind of been my biggest thing, is just keeping myself occupied audio-wise. Otherwise, it's just listening to ducks quack outside. And the geese when they come in for the night and decide to have a party out in the pond. So, like, I've been keeping myself busy with my hands, doing this, that, and the other thing, which I'll get into as well. But, like, if I'm working, visually, I need to keep my eyes occupied on my work, but I still like having, stuff going on in the background, audio-wise. So, obviously, I've got my backlog of podcasts that I'm still trying to go through. I don't have the gym and stuff to listen to podcasts and burn through a lot of those. So, but I am still listening to the same podcasts I've talked about before. Although some of them are, they've had to figure out how to keep their show going because of the social distancing and everything. Like Unspooled, Paul and Amy have figured out how to do things over the internet since they can't be in the same room. I know Traveling the Vortex, they've kind of gone on a short hiatus because they can't get together. So they're doing some side trippy type things. I've got all those that I still listen to. Lou is still doing his thing with WW Radio. I had tweeted this, I think last week, or like a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, something like that. But one of my favorite podcasts, which I have mentioned before, Imagine Life, was they do seasons. So they finished season 2 a while ago, and I've just been kind of, listening to everything else, waiting for them to come back. I'm still subscribed in my podcast app and waiting for it to update whenever they came back for season 3. And it wasn't until I was on Twitter and realized that they had come back and had been back for 2 weeks, and my podcast app was not updating that particular show.
I hate that when that happens.
Yes. So I quickly had to listen to those 2 episodes, but now my app has updated properly. So they are 3 episodes into season 3, and it's just as good as it has always been. It's one of my favorite podcasts. So I'm glad that it's back for season 3. So I'll have those to listen to for the next coming while. Each new episode drops on Friday. Cool. So that's been fun. And of course, you still got the other ones that I listen to, Barbara Reeves and Alan Alda's podcast. So if you've not listened to his conversation with Betty White, do so. It's hilarious.
Yes.
Mostly on her behalf. Not that Alan Alda isn't a funny guy, but he's not Betty White. And then when I don't want to necessarily listen to people talking, I have been pulling up because we can't go to concerts or anything, but a lot of artists have been posting full concerts, older full concerts on places like YouTube. So if you follow Metallica every Monday night, they have been posting full, the live, quote unquote live. It's not live, but they stream a concert from, however they've been bouncing around from locations and years. They haven't gone too far back. I think the furthest back they've gone is like 2009 or thereabouts. But it's been kind of fun to listen to those and have that play in the background. So if you're subscribed to the Metallica YouTube channel, you'll see that in your stream subscription on YouTube. But then I'll also put links in the show notes. I've watched a Paul McCartney concert from 2018.
Cool.
Which was pretty awesome. And Elton John from 2015. And then, because, Queen live at Wembley Stadium in 1986.
Yes. That is the best 80s concert, in my opinion. And I love the one kind of breakdown where they do all the covers with Hello, Mary Lou and Tutti Frutti. And that's one of my favorite sections. Because sometimes when I used to pull that out on the weekend and Dad and I would watch it, we'd go through that, then we back up and listen to their medley 2 more times before continuing on with the concert.
Yeah. It's funny though, because like I have that playing and I had it playing, on my laptop while I'm doing other things. I'm puttering around doing other things, so I don't have like my headphones on. So Chauncey was able to listen to it, and it's obvious that I have not played enough Queen for him, because at one point, because I was singing along with the entire thing, and I was singing along with Radio Gaga, and he's like, "What is it?" Well, he's like, "What is this song about?"
Oh, we have to educate him, I believe.
Yes.
Like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The music video for Radio Gaga is really cool because they took the Metropolis movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, in the TLDR version is that radio is still a valuable form of entertainment.
Yes.
But obviously, I need to
their
work
version
on
of
his.
Yeah, their version of video killed the radio star or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Or Bon Jovi's Last Man Standing.
Yep. So that's that. And we've had the radio on too, just a local radio. Chauncey has got it. He's got this boom box he bought off eBay. It's from 1986-ish. It still works. It's got a black and white TV in it. It's got a dual cassette player. So we've had it tuned to the local classic rock station for the most part.
Those from the 80s are built to last.
Yeah. So when we've had the local classic rock, so we get the usual, a lot of AC/DC and things like that. So there's been a lot of classics going on in this household since we've been in quarantine.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
For me, kind of what I've been listening to is I've been kind of going through my Big Finish and deciding, what I haven't listened to in a while, along with catching up on some backlog. But then one of the classes that I help where I work for school, they're having the kiddos listen to a podcast that's only 6 minutes long that deals with a story about this girl who may or may not have superhuman powers. They're already in season 3, but we were starting all the way back at season 1, and it's just it keeps the interest. And I actually have to pause myself because they're so short. They do their assignment is to listen to 10 to 15 episodes and then kind of write their thoughts and questions and predictions about what's gonna happen next. So it's been cool. I will post a link in the show notes, so in case if anybody's interested in checking that out, they can. It's been keeping my interest.
So as far as what I've been listening to, it's been mostly Big Finish, working on my backlog, as I have been for the past, I've kind of been going off and on of going through the main range in order, so I'm like, making sure I've listened to everything I have. But I paused for a little while because I also got the fourth box set of the First Doctor Adventures, which is the First Doctor team as played by the cast of An Adventure in Space and Time. So it's the Doctors David Bradley, Ian is played by Jamie Glover, Gemma Powell plays Barbara, and Claudia Grant plays Susan. Although Carol Ann Ford does make an appearance in box 3, I want to say. I think that's right. There's some really trippy stuff going on there. So so she makes an appearance. The fourth set was really, really quite good. I mean, they're all great, but there was because each one is 2 stories. There's a sci-fi story and a pure historical, because First Doctor era, they did pure historical stuff all the time. And the fourth set, volume 4, has a story about the Russian Revolution, the Tsars, it's called The Last of the Romanovs, and so they meet Tsar Nicholas and Duchess Anastasia, and it's actually kind of thought-provoking and interesting. They went certain places I did not expect them to go, which I was quite pleased about. So I highly recommend that one if you can get it. It just barely came out, so it should still be at its pre-order price if you feel so inclined. But also Big Finish is doing, like I said, they're doing their big flash sales, so you can get some Doctor Who Big Finish for fairly, and there's also doing some freebies every week. So make sure you keep an eye out for those, because they put some really good stuff up. They put up the beginning, which is it's a companion chronicle, which takes place right after the Doctor and Susan run away from Gallifrey, so it's before the junkyard and everything, and it's actually part of a trilogy, but it's a standalone. It's standalone enough you can just listen to it. It's amazing. I bought it when it first came out, and it's one of my favorites. So if you were lucky enough to grab that while it was free,
I did.
Go listen to it. It's wonderful.
It's on my list. Today's, because they do the free release every Monday, today's was the very first episode of one of their historical series, which was only one season, called Cicero.
Yes, that's one. I grabbed that one, and I'm quite looking forward to tackling it, because I have not ever listened to any of their original stuff. I've just stuck with the Doctor Who, because that keeps me plenty busy. But I'm like, you're giving this away for free? I'll give it a shot, sure.
Yep, exactly.
So.
And I'm not saying no to free. It's going to be in my library. So.
Yeah, you can't argue with free.
Nope.
But, yeah, and we've just been listening to a lot of music. My kids love to listen to music. Lottie, we've found out, because Jared and I, when Jared and I first started dating, he introduced me to Bollywood musicals, which are a lot of fun. Like there's a bunch of them on Netflix if you want to grab them. But we have some of the soundtracks, and one day and this was before quarantine started. We just had one on shuffle, and while Lottie was fussing, and she quieted down while we were listening to a certain one. They're all the titles are in there's several languages in India, so I don't want to say which one for sure, because I will probably be wrong. But it's okay. It's from the movie Rob Na Bana Di Jodi. I don't know if this one's on Netflix or not. We own the Blu-ray, but I'll just have to put a link to it, the video to YouTube in our show notes. The story basically is this guy who's kind of a sort of a nerdy, quiet, unassuming. He's a good guy. He's just not your typical romantic hero sort of thing. He ends up his mentor passes away. He marries his daughter because her fiance died, and arranged marriages happen a lot in India. It's just part of the culture, and so they happen in Bollywood. So her father tells this guy to marry his daughter, and he's been in love with her forever, and he's trying to help her with her grief, and also, help her, make the best of this marriage, and sort of thing. So it's very silly. He goes through this makeover. He and he joins a dance class that she's a part of, and it helps that he's played by one of the best looking guys in Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan. It's actually really funny, and it's really sweet. And so she doesn't recognize him, because for the role, Shah Rukh Khan he got a little nerded up a little bit, I guess is what you call it. But then when he goes through the makeover, he just looks like his normal self. So it's a little bit, I guess, a little bit 12th Night in a way, or Mulan, except it's not gender bent. But the whole point is, she's falling in love with his alter ego, and he's trying to figure out how to be his alter ego in their regular life. It's very madcap and very silly, but the song that Lottie has decided that she likes, or that will calm her down, is the one that he sings to his wife. And basically, he sees like all the good things in his life he sees in her, and he's trying to kind of, convince her that he really does love her. And it's very sweet. And even if you're not into romance, the music's great. The dancing is incredible. Like, if you've never seen a Bollywood movie, you watch it for the dancing, if nothing else. But it's one of our favorites, and I'm like, oh, we need to rewatch it. But we've been listening to the music a lot because it calms Lottie down when she's fussy for some reason. Then I also discovered she gets calmed down by when she listens to Drops of Jupiter by Train.
Oh, nice.
Found that out the other night, which is one of my favorite bands and one of my favorite songs. So I was just like,
cool.
Score. My child has good taste.
Not a bad song to calm down to, I will admit.
No.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yes.
I guess I haven't really listened to anything specific. I've been listening to some podcasts that I'm behind on, and just random music on the radio or on the collection I have. I've been listening to a lot of ASMR, which I've always have, but usually only at night. But now I've kind of been listening to it more during the day to help relax and deal with all this stressful going on. So that's been helping.
Yeah.
What does I do? Things around the house and try not to be bored. Really, like I said, nothing really specific. Just random things that I have.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of, like, just hit shuffle and just be like, whatever plays.
Exactly.
I've done that.
And like, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but like, when I listen to shuffle, I sometimes I think my iPhone like has a theme, like, because it would go from one song and the next song might not necessarily be connected, but it would be tangentially somehow.
Could be.
Like, I'm sensing something.
Twilight Zone.
That could be like a fun game to like see like how you can connect this song from the song before it.
Yeah. Oh.
I have random songs that
Yeah.
like pretty much every genre.
Yeah. It's like, let me see if I can go from a Broadway show tune to Metallica.
I can actually literally do that. I have Broadway and I have Metallica.
I can.
To Disney, to
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars, to Queen, to Backstreet Boys, to like
a little bit of everything.
Yep.
All right. Let's go on to more visual, I guess. Obviously, like I said, I'm working visually. I need to keep occupied. But when I'm not working and I actually want to watch something, I'm like I'm like watching everything and nothing all at the same time. So it's like
That sounds about right.
yeah,
That,
it's like
that's
I have the
description of it, Rachel.
folks. Yeah, it's like I have the folks that I'm like subscribed to on YouTube, and some of them have figured out how to keep generating content even with the current situation. Some have had to adjust, like Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning. They've had to go to 3 days a week. So that because they can't go to the studio and film stuff, so they've been doing a show with a split screen with them over Skype or whatever, and then peppered in with shows that they pre-taped before all of this happened. But because they don't want to blow through all their context, they don't know how long it's going to last, they've cut down their number of days a week. As opposed to someone like Philip DeFranco, who's actually upping the amount that he's doing. So he's still doing his daily show 4 days a week, but then he's doing a Friday show, which usually is a deep dive into something, because his group is like really small and they can still work from their homes and edit and put things together. And then he's also posting some shows on the weekends occasionally if he's got something. And then obviously I've got my streaming services, Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus. Although I'm not really watching anything in particular, I'm still working my way through Star Wars Rebels slowly but surely. I did rewatch Captain Marvel before doing the podcast the other day. Twist my arm.
It didn't hurt that much, did it, Rachel?
No. Twist both arms. It's fine. And like TV wise, other than The Masked Singer, not really watching much anything else. Waiting for Prodigal Son will be back actually tonight as we're recording this, but there's only 2 episodes left, so the season could be over for that. So really I just got The Masked Singer on Wednesday nights until that's over, and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will return, and then I'll have that to watch. But I don't really have anything on TV, so mostly what I'm watching is just stuff on YouTube, which is mostly the stuff that I normally watch. Occasionally I will jump around to something that's been suggested to me, but nothing's really completely jumped out to me. I did want to put a plug in though, and I know I've shared this the first 2 episodes on our Facebook page with John Krasinski from The Office, who played Jim on The Office, has started a show called Some Good News, and he's been posting on Mondays so that some people can kind of start their work week on a positive note with some good news, and it's been kind of fun to see what he's been doing. He held a virtual prom over the weekend.
Cool.
And had so he live streamed that on the YouTube channel, so you can go and watch I think the entire thing on the channel, but he put some highlights on the episode that was released today. So he had people like the Jonas Brothers come in, and Billie Eilish and Chance the Rapper, to either share their music or perform. So it was kind of like his thing that it was like, well, school year's almost over, it's seniors, and the kids that would normally be going to prom aren't getting prom, so he's like, I want to throw a virtual prom, call in favors with all of his famous friends, and call it a day. So, but his shows was just fun to watch. His wife Emily Blunt has shown up a few times. He's done some pretty cool things. He got the original cast of Hamilton to reunite virtually last week. So, yeah. So that was pretty cool. So that's been a fun addition to the YouTube algorithm, I guess. So.
Let's see what I've been watching. Kind of going back and kind of going through a Doctor Who rewatch with all the tweet-alongs that have been going along, and then I've had it sitting on my shelf for a while. I'm going to go back and, well, actually start Grimm and
Hey!
watch that. There's people have been saying, if you like Supernatural, you're going to love this, and so far, yep, I'm liking it.
Woo! I think I'm one of the ones that told you that.
Yes, and then a few others have been nudging me, so it's just like, okay, I will go back and start from the beginning, because I only got about midway through season 1 when I got sidetracked by another shiny TV show. It happens. Hashtag first world fangirl problems. All the pretty.
That's kind of been the story of my life, because there'll be times I'm like, okay, finally the kids are down. I mean, this is my thing with 2 little ones. You know, when I'm watching something, it's got to be more or less what they want to watch. And so we've been watching Onward so many times, over and over and over, because Alex loves it, and I'm like, you know what, kid, you've got good taste. How about we expand your horizons? And he's like, no, and you can't tell a 2-year-old what to do. So when we watch it, we're watching Onward or Toy Story. We've snuck a few more rewatches of Coco in there, which is great. So there's a lot of that. But as far as what I've been watching after they go to bed or when they're napping, it kind of just depends on what kind of mood I'm in by the time they get down. I've been rewatching Boy Meets World, which is on Disney Plus, which I'm still working my way through season 1. It's a long season, or at least what they say is season 1. They're still in middle school, and Topanga is still that weird hippie granola girl that they don't want anything to do with. But I know that she's suddenly going to become Corey's soulmate at some point.
and Mr. Feeney.
And Mr. Feeney. Yes. Mr. Feeney's a classic. You just gotta love him. But then Jared and I've been introducing him to the new version of Fruits Basket, which is on Hulu. They're redoing it. It's getting the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood treatment. Basically, the original Fruits Basket, which I watched when I was in college, only covered about half of the story as written in the manga. This new version is going to be 2 seasons, I believe. Season 2 is airing in Japan right now, but season 1 is out. And it's more faithful to the manga, so we're going to get the entire story. And yeah, we're enjoying it. If you're not familiar with Fruits Basket, it's an anime about a girl named Toru Honda who she's orphaned, but she's like determined to make her way in the world. She befriends a family, the Soma family, who are cursed by the spirits of the Chinese zodiac. The Chinese zodiac. Plus, there's an extra one who's cursed with the spirit of the cat. So it revolves around a lot of the old myth, the story of how the zodiac animals were chosen. The cat was tricked by the rat, so he didn't get to be part of the zodiac. So there is a rivalry there, and it's a very sweet story, a very slice of life. Even though it's got this fantasy element, the fantasy element. That's the only fantasy element. It's basically just a contemporary slice of life sort of story about this family who is dealing with this curse, and Toru is kind of the one who comes and is turning everything upside down, even though she's not trying to be, because if you know Toru, she's sort of a little airheaded, but you gotta love her. You have to love her. You cannot hate Toru. If anyone out there hates Toru Honda, you have no soul. It's just how she is. So this is one of my favorite animes. I highly recommend it. I was really thrilled when they said that they were redoing it, and so far the reboot is or remake, whatever we're calling it, has been really great. So like I said, it's on Hulu. You can probably also find it on Crunchyroll. Season 2 is airing in Japan. So if you have the paid version of Crunchyroll, you can get the episodes up there as they air. Problem is they're subbed. So if you're okay with subtitles, then there you go. But the dub is been delayed because coronavirus, like everything else that we're dealing with right now. But it's I think it's 24, 26 episodes. I'll have to check. So there's a fair number of episodes that you can watch. So go check that out. And then I've also been rewatching the extended editions of Lord of the Rings because it's been so many years since I watched them, and I have them, and I'm like, now's a good time to do that. So
Oh yeah.
so watch the movies plus
I love
all
my
the
extended box set.
yeah. So
Same.
watching all the behind the scenes stuff. Although watching it now, I'm getting the itch to get them on Blu-ray because the DVDs they look nice, they look great, but I just know they could look a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I've been researching how much it would be to get the Blu-ray version. And actually, surprisingly, they don't look that expensive, but still, you have to get all of them. So
Yeah.
around that. And then another one that has been another show that's been recommended to me. I started watching it, but Jared wanted to watch it with me, so we're going to start after we're done with Fruits Basket. It's another anime. It's called Snow White with the Red Hair. And I've watched 2 episodes of it so far just to see if I'm gonna like it. It's it kind of takes place in a medieval fantasy world. This girl, she's a healer, but she has extraordinary red hair. She attracts the attention of the spoiled prince. He wants her to be his mistress. He tries to kidnap her. She has none of it, and she befriends a prince in another kingdom who is a lot nicer and just wants to be your friend for now. But yeah, I had a friend describe it to me on Facebook, and I'm like, this looks like it's up my alley. I wonder where I can find it, and it's on Hulu, so we're gonna watch that too. Bear in mind, I've only watched the first 2 episodes, so if you watch more and you decide and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened here? Don't blame me. I'm just saying we're gonna watch it. We just haven't got there yet. So that's what we have been watching / will be watching as time goes on.
I've been jumping around. I've been watching quite a few movies. The last one I watched Thor Ragnarok yesterday? Or was it Saturday? I don't know. My days are mixed up right now. I've been jumping around random TV shows, either rewatching a series that I've watched plenty of times, so new ones or new to me. I've been watching the 80s Magnum PI.
Tom Selleck.
love the classics.
Some good episodes.
No, really, I'm having fun watching it. It's weird seeing a young Tom Selleck, not gonna lie.
Have you gotten to the crossover with Murder, She Wrote yet?
Not yet.
Because Brittany and I watched the reboot.
Yeah,
both been kind of watching the old, and it's like, okay, we knew Higgins. It's kind of different because the Higgins in the reboot is actually female.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, try to. It's like they're both snarky. And they both have the Doberman pinchers, Apollo and Zeus.
yes.
Things haven't changed all that much.
I've also been watching Twitch, watching a lot of gamers. I'm actually currently watching these group of gamers doing a charity event. They've been doing it for the last couple of years. They usually get together, but obviously this year they can't, so they're doing it online. It's been fun watching that. They're raising money. Now it's basically specific for getting the stuff for help with COVID, like helping get supplies for the first responders or the doctors and nurses, everything that they would need, help raise money for that, which has been awesome to watch.
Yeah.
And just random YouTube videos as always. And on Facebook, one of my a localish aquarium that I love has been putting a lot of sort of behind the scenes of taking care of their animals, and this is a kind of cute little series that one of the locals has been reading to the penguins, which is so cute.
Oh, I've been showing those to Alex, and every once in a while, I mean, he kind of gets distracted, but he'll come over and penguins. I want to see those. I'm like, these are so cute. And one of them, she was reading a book that we actually have, so he got excited about that.
Aww.
She's like, wait, I know this one.
It's been fun watching those and like seeing how the animals are handling this. So that's been fun.
For the most part, the animals they have no clue, but
That's true.
But yeah, they still have to keep them with their routine. You know, places like that, the animals expect a routine, so people are still having to work and feed them when they expect to be fed. And but yeah, what they can do. I don't think my local zoo's been doing anything, at least not anything that I've noticed, but I have enjoyed the short videos that I think it's the Georgia Aquarium, where they've been taking animals from the shelter and let them run around. So it's like, oh, here's some kittens running around with sharks in the background.
Yeah. That is so cute. I love that.
They're kind of looking at him like, what kind of fish are you?
Yeah.
Like,
you're big.
It's been fun to watch the you know, animals react to sharks and all these fish and stuff. They're like, some of them seem really interested, and then some are like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna go sleep over here.
Oh, one thing I forgot. What I've been watching is Patrick Stewart. Usually every day he's been posting.
Oh yes, he's been doing a sauna today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to those.
Yeah. So Patrick Stewart to read to you every day. He's been. You can go Instagram. I know he's been putting them up there. So.
Yeah. I think he's been putting them on all his social media platforms. I think.
Yeah. I know I follow him on Instagram, so I've been seeing him on my feed. Well, speaking of reading, I've not really been reading much anything. I've slowly been working my way through this one Doctor Who book, one of the vintage ones I picked up at Who North America, I think during Oktoberfest. It's the one, the Decalogue one, where it's I guess kind of an anthology, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's the one where there's an overarching story where the Seventh Doctor shows up to this PI, his private investigator's office, with no memory of who he is and why he's in the city he's in. And the private investigator decides to help him and ends up taking him to this supposed psychic. And the psychic, to try to figure out who the doctor is, because we know it's the doctor, but the doctor doesn't know he's the doctor. He has the doctor empty his pockets, and of course the pockets are bigger on the inside, so he's got a bunch of crap in his pockets, and this psychic will take an item and like read the energy of it, and it'll go to a chapter. The story will be a story of how the doctor ended up with that object in his pockets, and it's usually a different incarnation of the doctor. So I've gotten stories with the first Doctor. I think I've gotten every Doctor at least once, 1 through 6, at least once. So, but I've still got 100 or so pages left to go. So, and actually this I was just looking on Amazon. I put a link to it if you want to buy it on Amazon. It's a little pricey for what it is, but it is vintage. There's actually 2 others in this series. So I don't know if that means that I'm not going to get an answer at the end of this book, whether the doctor figures out who he is or not, if I'm going to be left on a cliffhanger or what. So I need to order the other 2 after I finish that. But not that I don't have a pile of other Doctor Who books that I've bought in North America on my last few visits as well. But this one's kind of got me hooked because it's kind of interesting, to get these stories. Some of them are just random stories where you're like, you recognize the companions, you recognize the doctor. But some of them, it's been kind of interesting to try and figure out where they may possibly fit. Like there's a Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane adventure that's post Pyramids of Mars, and they actually reference Pyramids of Mars in the story. So it's been fun. I kind of like this way of telling Doctor Who stories where it's not just one book dedicated to like a Doctor and companion. It's like you get a little bit of every Doctor and different companion combinations and stuff. So I think the story I'm in, because I haven't finished it yet. I think. Yeah, no, I'm still this one story I haven't finished yet, but it's the First Doctor, Stephen and Dodo, but the Sixth Doctor makes an appearance. So it's an interesting combination. With Stephen and Dodo and the Sixth Doctor.
Cool. Nice. So let's see. One thing I've read that I finished reading during this whole quarantine thing is because I'm a librarian, I have a membership over at NetGalley, which is a place where you can get advanced reader copies digitally of books that are coming out. So they want people to read them and review them, whether on Amazon, Goodreads, or blogs, or being able to recommend them. So the Dresden Files Peace Talks was up a little while ago, which is the book that has been in the works for quite some time, and now it has a release date. I think I mentioned this before that I got an e-arc of it, and I finished it. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is amazing. And
Two thumbs up.
What's that?
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up. So the wait is worth it. And this one they have announced that this one was so big they had to split it in 2. So Battleground, I think we mentioned before, will be out in September. So you get Peace Talks in July, Battleground in September. So you don't have that long to wait, but holy cow. So yeah, that one's amazing. Hopefully we'll be coming out of quarantine by then. Who the heck knows? So people can get that one. But yeah, so look forward to that for sure. I've also I've been reading some other like romance novels and things because that's my jam. I like that kind of stuff. Various different authors. Eloisa James is one of my favorites. Sabrina Jeffries is another one I've been reading. Just kind of been bopping around all over the place. I have so much stuff on my Kindle that I'm like, I should just read what I already own instead of even though authors are offering like big sales on all their on some of their back catalog. I'm like, do I have that one? I do. Okay. Oh no, I don't have that one. It's 99 cents. Buy with one click. But then I've also
they're offering their publishing company is offering a whole bunch of the back catalog for free, and it's like click.
I like, click. That's worth it. I'm also I've started a reread of Monster Hunter International by Larry Correia because I was in the mood the other day for I just needed something that was butt kicking, and I was in I was kind of feeling. I don't know. I wasn't having a very good day, and I was like, I need something that's kind of sarcastic, that's going to kick someone's butt, and something I already know that I love. So I've read it before. I'm going to read it again. But on that note, Laurel K. Hampton put out an anthology called Fantastic Hope, which was
that's in my to-be-read pile.
Yes, it released now. It's kind of fortuitous that it came out now when everybody could do with some happy endings. And again, this is in the same vein of, good guys kicking butt. So like Laurel K. Hamilton obviously is in it because she's the one who it was about who did it. Larry Correia's got something in there. Kevin J. Anderson, Jonathan Mayberry. Lee Modisett, Patricia Briggs, and then there's some newer authors. As what happens with all these anthologies is you get some well-known names plus some. Sharon Shin is another one that's in there. Mona Lisa Foster is a friend of mine, well, I know her on Facebook. I've never met her in person, but she's one of those acquaintances online. She's a cool she's a cool lady. And Michael Z. Williamson. So those are the people that I know or I know of. But there's some great stuff in here. So if you have not read Fantastic Hope and you need something that's a little hopeful but also action packed and sci-fi-ish, go pick it up. It's a good read so far. I mean, I haven't gotten through it, but I'm working my way through it as much as I can.
To follow off Chrissy, I've been kind of going back. I'm in rereading the Dresden Files in order to get caught up for book 16. Doing that, rotating between J.D. Robb to get a couple books behind to get caught up there. Going back and rereading some of the earlier Laurel K. Hamilton stuff because I know she's got a new Anita Blake book. And then one of my friends hit me on to Patricia Briggs, so starting her series off, first couple books. And then I know I had messaged you a long time ago about starting the Larry Correia books, and going to attempt to go back and do that one. So it's just like, okay, read a couple chapters here, find a good stopping point, go to another book. It's just indecisive reading mode galore.
Yeah, I'm that same way. I will say this: if you're new to the Monster Hunter International series, the first 2 books are good. Book 3 is my favorite. And I won't spoil why, but one of my very favorite characters is in it. And I'm like, she needs to come back. and I have heard from the man himself, she is coming back because she is one of the best characters of fan favorites. So I'm like, yes, please, more of her, please. I mean, he's got so many great characters in that series, but yeah, that one's a keeper. I'm like, please, more.
And Chrissy, your book suggestions, you haven't steered me wrong yet, so.
That's good. Holly, I think we have a lot of the same tastes in this sort of thing.
That helps.
I mean, you said you're starting Patricia Briggs, or you're going through Patricia Briggs, and I'm like, I started some of her stuff on Audible, and so I'm like kind of bopping around between different authors. But yeah, I started her Mercy Thompson, and I'm like, I'm liking this.
Yep. And there's something too about those first person narratives.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot of people can pull them off, and when they are pulled off, it's yay.
Yeah, well, especially because it's sort of that urban fantasy flavor where you have the first person narrative where they have to be a little snarky, but they have to have their own voice. So it's like, Harry Dresden does that, but it's different from Mercy Thompson, but it's different from Owen Pitt. It's different from Anita Blake. Yeah, like all these that do that sort of supernatural urban fantasy sort of thing. And that's sort of the tone that they're going for. And it's just fun. It's fun, but it's also, if you like action and in your sci-fi, then it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff, and it's a good time, and it's fun. It's not, dour or down on itself, or it's hopeful, which I kind of feel like we kind of need right now.
Yep.
Mhm.
So.
Well, I haven't really been sitting down to read traditional books lately. I mean, I have a whole pile, just couldn't really pick anyone to read. I feel like I say this every time we do this, but I'm still reading fan fiction.
Hey, it's reading.
You're reading.
Yeah.
Brittany, I'm a librarian. It is my job to encourage a love of reading. And if you're reading fan fiction, you're reading. It counts. I wish I could drill that into the heads of the kids who come in to the library and like, I need to read some boring book my teacher recommended to me. My mom won't let me read comic books, won't let me read fan fiction. I'm like, you're reading. It's okay. If that's what you love to read. Sorry, you got me on a soapbox there for a hot second.
And I mean, in some of the fans, like some of the authors are really good. Like they could be published. And some of them,
there are some fan fiction authors who have gone on to be published.
Yeah, there's a story I was reading. and they also published it. They changed it because they obviously couldn't use the
Right.
licensed characters, and they
It's called filing the serial numbers off. It's like,
Yep.
oh wow, I made this story, but I'm using these copyrighted characters. Well, I'm going to redo it with my own characters, and it's legitimate.
Yep.
And I've been listening to some audiobooks. The one I've slowly working on, it's called The Wizards of Once.
I've heard of it.
It's pretty good. Like, it's about these two kids. One, the girl is a warrior from a warrior tribe, and the boy is from a magic tribe, and like both tribes are taught to hate each other from both, but they end up teaming up kind of unwillingly at first.
And
It's really good.
And it's the same author that did How to Tame Your Dragon, if memory serves.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cressida Crowell.
Cressida Crowell, yeah.
Cressida?
Yes.
I knew I'd heard of it.
And the person who's reading it, you may have heard of this person as well. A little well-known actor named David Tennant.
He also does the How to Train Your Dragon books.
He has.
Some of them. I don't know if he's done all of them, but
I think he's done all of them. I haven't read or listened to them. I want to. 'Cause I love the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I know the books are different.
Yeah,
but those are on my list. So I've been having fun listening to like the there's 3 of them out, and like the third one just came out the end of last year, maybe the beginning of this year. So I've been having fun listening to that, which I definitely recommend, especially if you like fantasy, especially if you like David Tennant.
David Tennant talk.
Yes.
Just because like you can hear his Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Which is always nice.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it looks like he's done a fair number of audiobooks, not just Doctor Who ones. I'm pulling up his thing on his page on Goodreads for some Jane Austen, Shakespeare. But then there's How to Train Your Dragon and The Wizard of Once. But I didn't know he did Wizard of Once, so now I'm gonna have to move that up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't even know how I found out. I think I was just like, I think someone recommended it to me, and I was looking on Audible, like, because I have like a lot of credits on Audible, and I have they had a deal with they started adding the Babysitters Club books. Like, if you buy some in, you get so much money. So like, I have like $80
Oh wow!
of Audible credit. So
Nice.
Well, use those wisely.
Yes, spend wisely.
I will mention this. So if you're interested in audiobooks, but maybe you can't afford Audible or something, check with your local library if they have digital e-audiobooks. I know the library system I work for, we do Overdrive. We also do RB Digital. I mean, we're closed right now, but we're, the library system is really pushing the digital stuff and having like online programs and things like that. Jared's working on getting a Dungeons and Dragons program for patrons they can do online. But there's still, I know for our system, I can't speak for all systems, but I can't imagine that there aren't systems out there doing similar things. Is they're doing like an e-library card where you can just call in to the customer service line, because customer service or whatever, the phone service is still functional. So yeah, so your library, even if the building is closed, I'm certain somewhere, like, just go online, go on their web, or if they have Facebook or Twitter or something, they're talking about it, because there's a lot of libraries that are like, yeah, we're closed, but we still have stuff that you guys that people can do. So
yeah,
So definitely check that out. If you don't have a library card, you can, get on Overdrive or RB Digital or whatever other. There's a lot of different audiobook vendors that do things. So, and now I'm getting on hold for Wizards of Once because now you've told me that David Tennant narrates it, and I don't have Audible credits, but I'm like, I do have a library card.
Yeah, like my local libraries, they're doing the they do events, so they've been doing them online, and they've been having book clubs, and some of the librarians have been doing live readings for the little kids, which is cute.
Yeah, we've been doing story times, we've been doing book recommendations, they've been doing doing crafts, and they just do videos and post them on our the Facebook page. So stuff is still happening, it's just not happening in the building in person, but
yeah.
So definitely there's a little plug for your local library. Don't give up on them just because the C virus came to town.
Yeah, and the nice thing is the majority of the publishing houses are loosening the reins for how many electronic copies the library can have.
Yeah. There was a whole controversy about that. In fact, we pushed our system actually pushed the petition to say, hey, sign the petition so these publishers will get their head out of their butt. And I could go on a soapbox about that. I won't right now, but yeah, they did loosen it up when it turned out that our digital offerings are about all we can do for right now. So can we get some more stuff, please? Can you stop being greedy little butts? And anyway, so cooler heads prevailed there.
Yeah.
I have opinions about this, but that's for another time and place. So anyway, lots of reading to do, and if you're strapped for recommendations, I'll give you some.
Yeah, just hit us up. We will give you a list.
We have the in-resident librarian.
Tweet us, send us an email.
Hi, I'm waving. You can't see it, but I'm waving at the internet. Hello. Tell me what you like, and I'll come back with something.
All right. Let's see. Let's wrap this up with kind of the miscellaneous stuff that doesn't necessarily fit into the other categories, I guess. So I have been sewing. Like I said, I got my sewing machine from my mom. So when the mood strikes me, I've been sewing up a storm. I made a pair of pajama pants for Chauncey. A pair of pajama pants for myself. I'm still working on the Duff Doors stuff. I got so far.
My next question.
Yeah, I got so far with his, and realized that I majorly screwed it up.
Oh no!
Yeah. So, and I did not have any more of that particular fabric. So, and of course, all the stores are closed, so I had to order online. And it is taking ages for it to come in the mail. So I'm waiting for that fabric to come in so that I can make another attempt. I know how I screwed up, so I won't repeat myself. So hopefully, second time around, it'll be right, and then I can move forward, because it's every bit's got to be right so that the other bits fit with it. So so it's not like I could just keep going, because I need the other pieces to fit first. It was a fit issue is what it was. I made it way too small even for him. He's squishy, but he's not that squishy. So I've done the pairs of pajama pants. I'm working on a skirt made out of this Dalek fabric that I bought last time I think one of the last times I was at my in-laws. He and my mother-in-law went to Joann's real quick for something. She needed something, and they had this partial bolt of this Dalek Doctor Who fabric. Because for people who don't know, if you've been into Joann's and places in the past, and they used to have like all sorts of Doctor Who fabric with different prints, you know, the Daleks and different doctors. I've got the table decoration piece that's got the TARDIS with Capaldi's Doctor and Jenna Coleman and Missy and all that. But those fabrics you can't buy anymore because the BBC pulled the license. So they're not if you go into Joann's, well, you can't go into Joann's now, but when they're reopened and you go into Joann's and wonder where all the Doctor Who fabric went, it's because they're not allowed to print it anymore because the BBC pulled the license. It just so happened that this was in the clearance and it was the last bit that they had. I just bought what they had. I didn't know how much was on the roll. I was like, I will take it. I will take whatever's here. Yeah, it was on clearance as Doctor Who. It's like, I'll just buy it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it because it's like a gray background. It says exterminate on it and Dalek, and then it's got the different colored Daleks. So if you remember the Skittle Daleks. Mm-hmm. So they're like white and orange and blue and different colored Daleks all over it. So I've been sitting on this fabric, no idea what to do with it because I just bought what they had. So usually I buy fabric in a particular amount for a particular project, but this I just had it. So so I had this pattern for a skirt that I just bought when patterns were on sale, and decided to see if it would work with the fabric, and it just barely did, but I've made it work. So it's 90% done. I need to make some adjustments in the waistband so that it fits better, and then I need to hem it, and then actually it will be done. So it'll be really cool once it's completely finished. So I'll have this cool Dalek skirt when I'm done. So I've been working on that while I'm waiting for the Duff Doors new fabric to come in the mail. And then I've still got a ton of other projects that need to be started and worked on. It's just one project at a time. The pajama pants were supposed to be fairly easy, although I still managed to screw some stuff up because I'm still a novice when it comes to sewing and using my sewing machine and reading patterns and all that. I've had to get on FaceTime with my mom and be like, I don't understand what this means. Explain it to me. So I've been starting with these slightly easier projects to get more comfortable because I don't have my mom like right next to me like I usually do to help me. So I've been trying to work on stuff where it's like if I screw it up, it's not the end of the world. Before I get on to the bigger projects where if I screw it up, it would be bad. So, but when I'm not sewing, I'm usually coloring. That's my other big thing. Is I've got a large stack of grown-up coloring books, I guess, quote unquote grown-up coloring books. I've got both of the Doctor Who ones. I have the Doctor Who ... book. And then I've got a whole bunch of just miscellaneous books. There was a bundle of them you can buy on Amazon that actually my mother-in-law bought me for Christmas, this past Christmas. That's got different themed books. Some of them are just coloring. Some of them are ... and then you can color the pictures once you're done with them.
Yeah. I want that Lisa Frank one of yours that I see.
Yeah.
Just a tip on the Doctor Who ... Mechanical pencil is going to be your best friend.
Yes.
Not a pencil, mechanical pencil.
Yeah, a mechanical pencil and a ruler, preferably one that's clear.
Yes.
So that you can see through it, so that it'll help you with straight lines.
Yes.
Because when these are not your little kids connect the dots. These are pictures where you have upwards of 1,000 dots.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And sometimes you need a magnifying glass because the numbers are so small.
Yes.
I will say this, Rachel. You've kind of inspired me because I went and dug out my colored pencils and we were ordering some stuff for that we needed, and we needed a few more bucks to get that free shipping. So I went ahead and ordered another Doctor Who coloring book for myself. It hasn't got here yet, but I was like, I need to find my colored pencils because that coloring book's coming. Because Alex has been, doing his little toddler coloring book, and I'm like, I want to color.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
want my big kid coloring book.
Yeah, I will sit at the kitchen table and just have music playing in the background or whatever or something. If I'm watching like Star Wars Rebels or something, I will have that going, and I will literally sit here and just color for hours. And I have gone through a lot. I've got a photo album on my personal Facebook that's I've been taking pictures. But if you want to see them, I've also been posting them on my my personal blog's Facebook page. So, and if anybody's like, "What book is that from?" I can tell you. Although some of the books I've completed, so. But yeah, it's been, and I have a combination. I started out with just like some colored pencils, and now I've got a whole bunch of. I think I bought a box of colored pencils several months ago, and this was a box of like 90 or something. So, and then my mom made me this basket for my birthday that's got this Marvel comic book liner in it.
Oh, nice.
She had bought me. She had made me that, and then bought me a thing of fine tipped markers, colored markers, for my birthday. And then I ended up buying some more different fine tip colored markers, so that I had even more color variety at a different size tip, and even smaller size tip for the more like fine artwork. And then a package of colored glitter gel pens. So.
Yes, I was just about to say gel pens are good too, because sometimes I'll do mixed media. I'll do the pencils, and I gotta get some fine tip colored markers. I have the gel pens and the colored pencils.
Yeah, so I will put links to at least the stuff that I know where I got it from in the show notes. So the pens and the markers that I've been using. But I've been coloring so much that I actually had I got a small package of glitter gel pens from some friends for my birthday. And I went through that. I think it was like a set of 8 or something like that. So it wasn't a large amount, but I went through and ran those dry within a couple of weeks. So that's why I bought the bigger thing of gel pens off of Amazon. But even now, I'm getting to the point where I've ran dry several of the gel pens, several of the markers I've ran dry already. So it's like I'm going to have to order some more eventually, just because I'm coloring so much that I'm burning through. I've got plenty of coloring pages, but my art supplies, I am going through them very, very quickly. Yeah. And this basket that my mom had got me, which, when I started out was barely full, now I can barely squeeze everything into it. So that's been between sewing and coloring, I've been keeping myself, at least as far as my hands are concerned, busy. You know what they say, idle hands are the devil's playground.
This is true. There's been a lot of idle hands lately. But as far as miscellaneous stuff goes with us, we've actually been playing through some video games, some mobile games, and card games. Yesterday was Jared's birthday, and the new Wastelanders expansion for Fallout 76 came out recently. So since we both have 76, we started playing it yesterday, and I haven't been able to play so much because, kids kind of take my time, and whenever we sit down and start playing, Alex comes wandering in. I'm like, I gotta go deal with him. or that puts an end to it. But I'm really enjoying it. I know 76 has kind of gotten a bum rap from people, and there are various reasons why now is not the time to go in it, but we're actually enjoying it. There are different ways to play it. You don't have to do the multiplayer other than beyond who you want to play with. I mean, it's just most of the time it's just Jared and me when we play. Sometimes Jared's twin brother comes in with us too. But it's been fun. The story is kind of cool. I mean, it's an online game, so yeah, there's going to be some glitches, but overall, it looks beautiful, as far as I can tell. So I'm enjoying that. Jared's also been playing through Halo, because I never knew that Halo actually had a story. So he'll play, and I'll watch. The only time, when Halo was a big deal back when I was in college, everyone only just wanted to do the multiplayer,
Shoot 'em up.
battle royale
Yeah.
sort of thing, and I was never good at that, so I never did it. But then, Jared had all the Halo games, and his younger brother, it's his favorite one, and I'm like, wait a minute, Halo actually has a story? And it's a good one too. I was like, you guys, if you've only ever done the multiplayer of Halo, you're missing out. So we've been doing that. As far as my mobile games, because they're on my phone, I've been playing Disney Emoji Blitz, which is it's a fun little matching game where you select Disney characters and
Yes.
so I've been doing there, and they have events every month, so that's been fun. And also we've been doing Pokemon Go, which you'd think, oh, Pokemon Go, you wouldn't be able to do so well stuck at home.
They've loosened that requirement up, which
yeah, they've loosened up a lot of the requirements. I mean, we'll go out, we'll like go for a drive for a little while. I mean, going out for a drive is okay still. I mean, you're just in your car, especially if you don't get out. So drive by, park somewhere where there's a Pokestop or a gym and play for a little while, gather stuff. But then you can also, there's stuff you can do while you're just sitting at home. They have, if you have your buddy, your little walking buddy, the buddy will go fetch stuff for you. So you can, and they've found a way for you to do raids. There's a community day coming up this weekend. So you can still play Pokemon Go if you're doing that. The walking, if you're walking for candy or walking for your buddy or for any of the other things you walk to, or to hatch eggs. Like I went for a walk with Alex around the block the other day, hatched 2 eggs, just doing one lap around here. So it's
they've done that in Wizards Unite too, where they've loosened up how much you have to walk.
Yeah.
And also, if you have Adventure Sync turned on, if you're like walking around your house, or if you have a treadmill, and it'll actually just count steps too, so it's not necessarily distance. So I've still been doing that. I can't play quite as much as I would when I would be going out to work and stuff, but I still get to do some. And another game that we're playing, this one's a card game, is Red Dragon Inn, but we've been collecting all the expansions and stuff forever. But it's a fun little game if you're a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. It's basically, this is the party coming back from their adventure, and they're at the inn drinking and gambling. And the point of the game is to be the only one still sober and have money. It's the last one standing.
Let everybody else buy the round.
Pretty much, yes. Like go look it up. It is we finally bought all the expansions. This has been a journey of several years, and we have the giant character box and so every character has their deck. They have little different little powers that you can do depending on what kind of character you have. There are healers. There's a bard. There's a couple bards. There's a tinkerer. There's clerics. There's even a villains box. There's a box, or there's boxes you can get where there's just 2 characters, so it's like a versus. But you can just, we'll bring this box out for like big family parties and say, okay, everybody, which character do you want to play? And we divvy out the decks, and it is hilarious. I mean, there are characters. Just Google search or search on Amazon Red Dragon Inn, or find the website, and they'll talk about the different characters, their backstories, their powers, and there's just all these funny little things that they do, and it's a fun little game. And they've done so many expansions. There's one expansion that's the Tavern Crew. So up until then, they like have the wench come out serving drinks, and she'll have a card. Like if you're messing around with the drinks, there's a card that's like, the wench thinks you should stop playing with the drinks, or tip the wench. Well, finally, the wench got her own deck, so you can play as the wench.
Nice.
And she, and she's kind of a tough cookie, and she has her own drink deck. So she puts out, there's different drinks that the tavern serves, and depending on what the drink is, it'll give you so much alcohol content, or or maybe you get, they'll cut you off and they'll give you a cup of coffee. and then you have they have little gold coins that you can gamble with. So there's a gambling mechanic. They also have another expansion that has its own kind of playing card deck, so you can actually play a gambling game that would be in one of these fantasy taverns. So they've made up a bunch of these different card games, or you can just play the card game on its own. So it's really complex, but it can also be it can be as complex as you want to make it, or it can just be as simple as you have one of the versus decks and you play one character against the other. So it's a fun game. It's one that we love to play, and we try to play as much as we can. It's a lot more fun with a lot more people, but you can play with two just as well. There's also they have the Otto, our mechanical friend, is a little robot character that will make a 2-player game a little easier, because it gives you an extra player that isn't a full-on player, but it lets you do certain things with them. So, in fact, I'm gonna find the website just to link to, so you can see what I'm talking about, because oh my gosh, and they keep adding decks to it. They've had some Kickstarters and stuff, and they have so many different ones, and it's a fun one. It's one that you can have as many characters as you want, or you can just have one box and do it. And I'll have to link to it, because it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
And it's kind of like, if we ever get to meet each other face to face, we're playing Red Dragon Inn.
Ooh, sounds good. Yeah. Kind of what the miscellaneous for me, what I've been doing is I've been kind of doing the Disney Emoji Blitz, but then Disney has had a new game called the Sorcerer's Arena, where you get certain characters, and then once you build up and acquire, you can get more, and then there's certain options, and then you can earn points to unlock other characters.
I've seen ads for that. I've been wanting to play it, I just keep forgetting to download it.
Yeah. It's been cool and enjoyable, and then every now and again a little frustrating when you face off against a certain opponent. It's like, are you gonna let me win this time? Because you can do it where you can choose what you're gonna do for your battle moves, but then they have an option too for if you're rushed for time, you can actually automatically put it on auto and have the computer do it for you, and you can do it at like 1 speed, 1.5 speed, or 2 speed, so you can kind of get through the gameplay. So that's kind of what I've been experimenting with on and off. And you can do different team combinations, and then they have there's different little challenges, because you have your good guys challenges, and then they have what's called the villain challenges. So you get your villains. You'll get like Gaston, Captain Hook, Kronks, who he reports to. Her name's escaping me right now.
Yzma,
yes. And then a few others. I mean, they're pulling in all the characters. I mean, you're getting Aladdin, you're getting The Incredibles, you're getting Sorcerer's Stone, you're getting Black Cauldron. I mean, they're combining Disney and Pixar. I mean, you get Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
What characters can I unlock next?
Yeah, one of the ads I've seen. It's like Ariel teamed up with like Darkwing Duck.
Yes.
It's like
Yep.
versus like Maleficent. So
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a freemium. So you start off free, and then they do try to
get you
entice
some
you.
money.
Yes.
That's to be expected.
Yep.
Yeah. I know. They make it so you feel like, oh, you feel like you have to spend some money, which
Mm-hmm.
You can understand.
it's I mean, yeah, gotta pay the bills, gotta keep the lights on. At the same time, it's like,
Yep.
does that have to
Yeah.
be so expensive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at
Exactly.
first it doesn't seem expensive, but then like, oh wait, I want that expansion. I want that one and that one, and it
Yeah.
adds up. Like,
Yes.
oh, I spent that much. Oh boy.
Mhm.
Yeah. I just tell myself it's like these games are hosted on servers somewhere, and that's not cheap.
No,
So-
That is true. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
For me, I've been doing what Rachel's been doing. I've been doing a lot of coloring. Both I have physical, and then like at night when I'm relaxing in bed, I have a coloring app, which is fine. And the coloring books I have are I have a Doctor Who one. I have a couple of Fantastic Beasts. Where to find them coloring books? I have a Supernatural, and like a bunch of like Mandela type coloring books. I have a random one that I got from Maine. It had a bunch of like Maine-esque.
Oh, cool.
So like they had like lighthouses and lobsters and blueberries and like all that kind of stuff. All like stuff you associate with Maine, which is fun. I've been playing a lot of random games. I have the Xbox Ultimate thing, so you have access to like 100+ game streaming. So I have fun like, ooh, there's a game that I've always wanted to play. I can play it for free while I have it. Though mainly I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. I have to blame Glenn from Traveling the Vortex for getting me into it. Like, so he has a realm that I've been playing on, which is it's fun. It's fun. Like we've been currently working on making like an amusement park. I've been making like this mini golf course, and like there's roller coaster, a walking rolling coaster, which is neat. And a Ferris wheel and all that fun stuff. So I've been having fun with that. What else have I been playing? I've been playing Jurassic World Evolution, which is you build your own Jurassic Parks, which is fun. And
so it's kind of like Park Tycoon or something like that.
yes,
awesome.
I may have occasionally accidentally let dinosaurs escape.
It's like that. That's the dinosaur
never
supervisor
happened.
meme. It's a dinosaur supervisor meme in a.
Exactly. Like
You had one job, Phil. One
Yep.
job.
Mhm.
Like, oops, I didn't mean. So that's been fun playing that. Um, this is a new game that I haven't played yet, but I've been wanting to play forever. It's called like Near Automate. I don't remember what it's called, but I've seen people play and it looks really beautiful, and also it from what I've seen can be pretty sad. I'm like, oh boy. And then I have a bunch of like open world games like Skyrim and what's what's that other one called? I can't remember off the top of my head. My sister will kill me because she loves that game and it's got me into it. But of these games that like I'm horrible at finishing because they have like all these side quests that I get sidetracked. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a main story that I should actually walk on. So like these games I've been playing for like years and not even halfway done.
I think that's kind of the point with some of those.
That's true. I guess the newest one of that I've been playing, Witcher 3, which that's been fun.
Classical and Dear Witcher.
Indeed.
I don't know exactly what that means. I just have seen posts. All the Witcher
It's one
stuff.
of those. It's one of those things. It's on my list of things to do. Watch The Witcher, and or read it. Probably not the game because I don't know if I'd be any good at the video game. But I could definitely read the book.
I mean, the game's it's like what you expect from like similar to Skyrim or those games, like a bunch of quests that you need to walk on that you don't finish.
I'll stick with my farm on Farmville on Facebook. Thank you.
My poor farm. I had one and then like I've neglected it. I don't think I've touched it in years. But yeah, I feel like that's all my things. Like I just jump around from random games and shows and like. Apparently, I don't have that big of an attention span because I jump around too easily.
There's just so much stuff to play with.
Exactly. Now I've been looking on Amazon because I used to love doing puzzles, like jigsaw puzzles, and I haven't done any in a long time. Not any hard ones. Like I had like this tiny little Avengers one that I got from like the dollar store recently. Like that was like a 100-piece one that I had done in less than a couple of hours. Like
there are ones you can do online. One of the groups, one of the author groups that I follow. Hold on, they post puzzles that they upload pictures and makes a jigsaw puzzle out of it online. Jigsaw Planet is what is the website, so you can make a free account, find some puzzles, and just because people make them and put them up, and anyone can do them. They time you, so if you want to do the time thing, that's fine. But if you just want to kind of do it at your leisure, that's cool too. But
I still check that out because that's probably because logically I don't really have anywhere to actually sit down and do a puzzle. I don't really have a table, so that's probably the better thing to do.
I will say that it's easier to do it on a computer than a tablet or a phone, because when you get to the edges, it's kind of hard to get the pieces, like the edge of the screen, not the edge of the puzzle. If it gets too close to the edge of the screen, you can't grab it, and it's very frustrating. But if you have a mouse, then it's a little easier.
Can you set the how many pieces you want and the cutter?
Yes,
are you limited?
if you're making one, you can. Or if you're just looking, because it'll tell you if you're like scrolling through searching for one to do, it'll tell you how many pieces it is before you start.
Gotcha. Let
me see. I was just on that group.
And is it free? Because like I've had a couple.
Yeah, it's free. It's free.
This puzzle apps I've had, like they would start free and then they were like, oh.
Yeah, no, this isn't an app. It's a website. Like, and then you just, there's probably ones that are paid, but they have so many free ones that you wouldn't. I don't know if there are paid ones or not, but there's so many you look through and can do. Like they'll do book covers, or they'll do stock photos, or I don't know, just a gazillion different ones out there. So there's a place you can get some cool puzzles. It's not the same as doing an actual puzzle on a table, but if you don't have room for that, there you go.
And I love doing puzzles. Like, I had a strong memory. Like, I was probably 8, and like I had like this huge Titanic one that it was basically like the movie poster in the puzzle, but at the end we glued it, and I had it hanging up on my wall. And I got mad at my sister because she was putting stickers on it. Like, no, stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to do puzzles like one of my family members would usually have a puzzle out every time we visit.
Yeah. They usually have them sitting out at various completion when we go to visit. Well, we can't right now, but when we go to visit Chauncey's grandmother at the place where she's living. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely a good way to fill in some time and keep your brain busy. Actually, you wouldn't think like a jigsaw puzzle requires that much brain power, but actually they do.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do a puzzle and listen to an audiobook or a podcast or music or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the important thing to you kind of alluded to that, Rachel, is you need something for your brain to do instead of, I mean, this is what I've noticed, and I mean, I've got some mental issues with that as it is, but when all you have to look at and to think about is, you know, the bad stuff that's going on, like, oh, I could get sick, or, you know, I'm not working, or you know, someone I care about could get sick, or I'm, you know, what are things going to be like when we get out on the other side of this? And some of this is like, honestly, a lot of this you just can't control. But if you can, you know, do something with, you know, do something fun, do something with you know, the family that's around you, you know, take your mind off things. Like yesterday I mentioned was Jared's birthday, and we usually, and Jared's family has a lot of April birthdays. Usually we do a big family party. This year, obviously, we couldn't do that, but we made an effort to, you know, do some fun things. We had a nice dinner. You know, we had cake and ice cream and all those things. And it also, honestly, it kind of felt just like a normal, as a normal birthday as much as we possibly could. Like Jared and I got on Fallout, and we got his brother on to play for a little while. And it was, and like, you know, we went to bed and we were like, gosh, we feel like we should be going to work tomorrow because, you know, this felt normal. And so, and that was I kind of felt like that's what we needed. So, you know, if any of these ideas or our listeners like help out with that, that's great. That's kind of our goal here is because if you're just sitting and watching the news and watching the projections and watching people argue about it and over this and that, I mean, there's plenty to argue about and plenty to get upset about, but there's not a whole lot we can do right now, and it sucks, but we're going to try to make the best of it. So hopefully some of these suggestions are working for you. If you've got some suggestions that you want to put forward or say what you're doing, share stuff that you want to talk about what you're doing, send us feedback. Our address is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. Our website is the5ishfangirls.com, and we have links to our social media. We have our Amazon store. We have our iTunes where you can download the podcast on Apple Podcasts. I keep calling it iTunes, but it's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can also go, you know, we have our Facebook page, so we're posting stuff around there every once in a while. And if you want to support the podcast, if you can, we appreciate that. You can go to our Patreon. You can search or, you know, go through our Amazon store, our merchandise shop through Redbubble, and our Ko-fi. And that's all very helpful to what we're doing. So thanks, you guys. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being here. Hope this is helping as much as everything that's going on. So
I know it's helping me. It's nice that we can still do this and, you know, have some semblance of normalcy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. didn't occur to me with the Vortex Boys. I was like, oh right, they meet in person. I'm like, we can still podcast. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's never been an issue for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
As long as the internet still works.
yeah, I think if the internet went down, we would really have a problem.
We'd be in a world.
Yeah.
Cue the REM. It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is yeah, we'll try to link to as much as possible in the show notes so that folks can maybe take advantage of some of these things and themselves to help fill in the time. And yeah, of course, if stuff's available on Amazon and you're gonna buy it, please think of using our link.
Yes.
Yes.
There have been several times we've been like I've been like, oh hey, here's a book that someone put on for sale, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the podcast page first, and then I'll search it. Or we've had to order some things that we needed, and I was like, go to the podcast page first.
Yep.
And it does help. It does help. You don't pay anything extra. We just get a little referral bonus, and it helps support the podcast. So like we said, server space. That's a lot of money.
Now I have double the reason for everyone to shop at Amazon.
Yeah.
Keep Brittany employed.
Yes. Yes, she is working for Amazon, which is awesome. So, yay, Brittany.
Woo!
Yay. All right. Well,
Stay safe, stay sane out there,
yep.
and
Wash your hands.
take care of yourself, whether that's physically, mentally, because I will tell you from experience, mental anguish from something like this is not fun. It's not fun.
No.
Exactly.
And check in on people who are living alone, because they need somebody.
Yeah. Whether it's sending a quick text, if they're or calling someone,
Yeah.
if that's more your or their speed, but because we do have the internet.
Yeah.
There are ways to keep in touch with people. Yesterday, we were using Zoom, but the first time we were on Skype, we did a Skype brunch with a couple of friends yesterday morning, and Chauncey was found classic cartoons, and we were playing them, sharing them on the screen while we were in Skype. So we were eating essentially breakfast while watching Saturday morning cartoons on a Sunday morning with a couple of friends of ours. So
Can't get any better than that.
yeah, and then we had a big family get together on Zoom yesterday afternoon. So where it gave people a chance to catch up. So a whole bunch of Chauncey's side of the family, people hadn't really had a chance to talk to each other than maybe on the phone or on Facebook, but it gave people a chance to actually see each other. So you're able to see cousins and stuff. So that was fun too. So if you've got the technology, got the internet, the technology is out there to keep in touch.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
nice.
it was like I said, we have a lot of April birthdays, and last week my nephew's birthday was last Friday, and Jared's niece's birthday was last Friday. So we did little birthday videos for them and sent them to their mom to their moms and said, "Here, we were thinking about you, even though you didn't get to have a big party with presents and stuff. But here, we're partying with you from a distance as best we can."
Yep.
So be creative. Do stuff like that if you can.
Yep.
We will get through this together.
Yes. It won't last forever.
Yep.
Anyway.
So with that, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany Bethlehem saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. One more thing that we are keeping ourselves occupied on, just a little bit of a teaser, but there may or may not be some
D&D content from us in the future, and that's all I'm going to say for now.
Oh no! It can't be! A gelatinous cube!
You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at thefivishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/5ishfangirlspodcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official Five-ish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/5ishfangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/5ishfangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.